YouTube, know you always get that first exclusive shit. Before I get this motherfucker started, mic checks and whatnot. Hopefully you can hear all this shit good. Let me see. Got that where I need it. That's where I need it. Instagram Live. Oh, that was some bullshit. Complete accident. Hopefully y'all can't hear the fucking noise going on in my house. Cause it is a little noisy in this motherfucker. Put the mic in a good place. My sound. Okay. I love Smokey Robinson. Think we might be ready for motherfucking action. Let's see. Nigga really need like a little quiet on the set button. He sip this wine. It's actually wine this time. Hopefully that shit ain't loud as fucking the mic like it was that one time. My sound at a good level. Okay, for sure. Let's start the show. Alrighty. Got my beat. My mic is on. Turn me up, Cruz. Gunshots, bitch. And then there was bass. Good evening, motherfuckers and motherfuckers. This is your host, Yung Dolemite. Got a Too Much Game podcast, live from the Boom Boom Room. Once again, welcome to all the new listeners. What's the motherfucking deal to all the old listeners? Thanks for sharing. Thanks for putting motherfuckers up on the show. Thanks for listening in general and shit. You know, I appreciate y'all's patience and understanding for, you know, me not doing this shit last week. Nigga had a mean sleep debt I had to pay. A motherfucker was dog tired. Nigga been having like a long fucking week for the most part, nigga. It's just been shit after shit, nigga. 2020 is on some baby back bullshit. Like, you know, if y'all could see on YouTube the t-shirt I'm wearing, you know, rest in peace to the homeboy Spank, you know, Street Wolvez Spank. I was out there, you know, riding motorcycles with my homeboys, the Street Wolvez. Shout out to them. Street Wolvez Motorcycle Club and shit. Was out there, I think that was Saturday night at a dance for the Rising Suns Motorcycle Club at Undisputed. And, you know, night went cool, you know, regular shit. You know, met up with some riders, rode out, you know, went to the function, had a good time and shit. On the way home, you know, everybody riding out, you know, parted ways, everybody went their way, I went my way, texted everybody I made it home. Unfortunately, the homeboy didn't, you know, so shout out to Street Wolvez Spank, moment of silence. But yeah, man. Today's episode is gonna be a good one. I gotta make up for not being here yesterday. Matter of fact, I feel like honestly I gotta make up for last week's show. I feel like last week my show was trash. On some real shit. I really feel like I dropped the ball last week. I don't know what it was about last week, but it didn't come together. You know, for the YouTube people, my motherfucking closet was open and y'all saw that shit. I didn't have my motherfucking drink. You know, I got my wine now because, you know, I got tonight off. So that's a beautiful motherfucking thing. But, you know, I really feel like this show, this motherfucker gonna be game heavy. What's going on in my homeboy LA Deuce in the live? You know, I feel like I gotta lay it on thick this time because last week I feel like that shit was kind of lacking. So, you know, this week I got motherfucking ice jewelry for y'all and shit. You know, I'ma start. Y'all already know I gotta start with what the fuck is in the news and shit. Some of this shit I'ma hit real quick. Some shit I might spend a little bit of extra time on, but you know, getting into the first thing, Cardi B and Offset getting a divorce. I seen a lot of people like laughing at Cardi about this shit, like you know her little line about I don't cook, I don't clean. Let me show you how I got this ring. You know, motherfuckers is laughing at that shit. Like to me, shit like that not funny. Divorce ain't never funny to me. Like I don't even like seeing motherfuckers break up with boyfriends and girlfriends. Outside of shit just being completely toxic, like man, I'm a fan of love, nigga. I love love. If all y'all know, I've been married, you know, going on 12 years and shit. Like nigga, I love love. That's my shit, man. So, you know, hopefully Cardi and Offset are better for what the fuck went on. You know, they saying Offset can't stop cheating, and it is what it is. You know, like I hate to see motherfuckers break up, but at the same time, I more hate to see motherfuckers in fucked up relationships. So if it had to come to an end, man, you know, shout out to both of them. Hopefully they do well in their future relationships and just future endeavors in general. The Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight versus battle, that shit was dope. You know, a lot of funny moments. Patti LaBelle going off on the fucking teleprompter, man. Motherfuckers forgetting their words. Gladys Knight still sounds fucking phenomenal for her age. Like she ain't missed a fucking step. Gladys Knight sounded great. Of course, if we considering this shit to be a battle, Patty won, but you know they both showed. I was gonna say showed they ass. They both showed up. They both had a great showing. They both did great. You know, shout out to both of those queens, both of those ancestors, both of those living legends. Shout out to Dionne Warwick for pulling up. You know, I will say she should do a battle too, but you know, we gonna see. But you know that shit was dope. I low key missed most of it. I had to catch that shit on the back end, but you know, I'm just glad in general that they did it. That shit was a moment. It was dope. You know, now we need like Charlie Wilson to do a battle against somebody, or Ron Isley or some shit. But it's gonna be hard to get a match for either one of those. I think Ron Isley might have to go up against like Smokey Robinson or some shit, cause them motherfuckers both got a lot of hits. You know, as far as the amount of hits, I might go with Ron Isley, but when it come to that's a hard one. Ron Isley versus Smokey Robinson. Y'all motherfuckers hit me up and tell me who y'all think will win that fucking battle. I might have to put that shit on my Instagram as a poll or some shit. But you know, like I said, I'm keeping this shit quick. The fucking Clippers lost to the Nuggets. Motherfuck, man. Like, and you know, I'm a Clipper fan, dog. Like, that shit hurt, dude. Like, it's hard as fuck to be a Clipper fan, my nigga. I feel like a abused person in a relationship. Like these motherfuckers just no matter how high my hopes get, these motherfuckers figure out a way to let me down. And I kind of knew it ever since we got fucking Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers is vastly overrated. But it's like, man, it felt like not even Doc Rivers could fuck this shit up. I guess I was wrong. Like we got what, like a 5-year streak of fucking blowing a playoff series lead. Like damn, it's hard being a Clipper fan, dog. Like I'm terrible at picking favorite sports teams on some real shit, because my favorite football team is the Raiders. So y'all already know, my nigga. Like I done had a rough go when it comes to, you know, rooting for sports teams and shit. Like it's just a bad look for me. But you know, again, rest in peace, my nigga Spank, dog. Like, you know, for the people coming in, you know, you see this motherfucking shirt I got on, man. You know, rest in peace to Street Wolvez, Spank, dog. Like that shit kind of got me fucked up a little bit. Like that's the reason that this show is late. You know, like memorials and things of that nature. Like, we have to give my nigga a good send off and shit. Like even tomorrow we gonna release Dubs for him in Compton and shit. Like, like that shit really like affected me. Like, I talk about on this show, or I have spoke about like the fact that just amongst me going on about this show, like, no matter what's going on in my life, I gotta bring this fucking content. And I'm not saying it like doing this shit is like a chore, because it's not. Like, this is honestly something that I enjoy doing, something that I'm passionate about. But like it's just certain times that it's like, damn, I gotta do this shit even though it's something that I'm going through. I still gotta deliver this game. Even though, I kind of look at this shit like it's low-key therapeutic. Like, just getting the shit off my mind because I don't speak much. I got a whole motherfucking podcast, but on some real shit, like outside of me doing this shit, I don't talk a lot. A lot of motherfuckers who know me know I don't answer my phone. I don't engage in useless conversations with niggas. I'm usually thinking, listening to podcasts, or trying to learn some shit. So this is like my one time during the week where I could just spit everything that's been going on in my mind throughout the week. So, I just appreciate motherfuckers for listening, honestly. But today I want to talk about mindset and discipline. I really feel like, these are two very important traits. A lot of times I talk about, or, over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about the importance of mindset. Setting your mind on something. Like they say, you can do anything you set your mind to. And I say, you can do anything if your mind is set on that thing, if you have the right mindset. Like, people say, oh, if you set your mind to do this, or you set your mind to do that. And I'm like, yeah, kinda. Like it's a mindset. Like it's a difference between, setting your mind and having a mindset. Because setting your mind is just like thinking about something and trying to do it. Like, but having a mindset, I look at a mindset like a fucking lifestyle. Like it's something that you create as a habit. Like that's the reason that I tied it in with discipline. Because when you have a mindset, like your mind is set on something, like as far as what would you call it? Like you've ironed that shit onto your fucking brain. Like that shit'll help you remain disciplined in a lot of situations. Like that shit'll guide your steps in a lot of situations. Like when you have, say, like you on a fucking diet. Like when you on a diet, when you have the mindset of I'm going to lose weight, you set your mind on losing weight. Like, nigga, this is my lifestyle now. Every time you sit down to eat, the question going on in your head is this meal gonna get me closer to my target weight or farther from my target weight? Every time you wake up in the morning, is the shit that I'm doing getting me closer to my target weight or farther from my target weight? Did I run today? Did I drink water today? Did I take my supplements today? Or, whatever you do to lose weight, that's something that's always gonna be on your mind. Like that's your mindset. Like that's what's going on in your head at all times. Like it's not just a goal, but it's something that your mind is always on. Like, nigga, am I gonna lose weight or am I not? And I tell motherfuckers a lot of times, like when you lack discipline, when you fall off the wagon, I feel like honestly that's you choosing whatever the fuck that is over what you say that you actually want. Like I had the episode Wants versus Wishes, where I talked about motherfuckers saying that they want something, but they not doing what the fuck it takes to get what they say that they want. Like motherfuckers will say, oh man, I want to be a millionaire, or oh man, I want this job, or shit. Even, I want to get with this bitch, or anything motherfuckers say they want. Whenever nigga tell me they want something, my counter question is always, oh, okay, nigga, what you doing to get that shit? Like, if you say you want to be a millionaire, what are you doing to be a millionaire that everybody else ain't doing? Because going to work every day not gonna make you a millionaire. So what are you doing different than everybody else is doing to become a millionaire? Because millionaires are basically, you know, what they call 1%ers. And a lot of times, nigga, in order for you to get in the 1%, you gotta be willing to do what 99% of motherfuckers ain't willing to do. You know, and the thing about that shit is, you know, like I've said on this show a couple of times, like everybody not meant to make it. It's not everybody's motherfucking destiny to be on. It's not everybody's destiny to be great. As much as we all want to be great, it's just not for everybody, my nigga. Everybody don't have the talents, but you know what I talk to a lot of motherfuckers about, like, you know, my listeners and niggas who I speak to in general, like, nigga, just because you can't be the greatest basketball player or the greatest whatever the fuck, you can always be the greatest you that you can be. Like, you can be the greatest motherfucking janitor, you know, and even if you ain't the best at sweeping the motherfucking floor, you could just be the best at being who the fuck you are. Being a good father, good brother, good role model, good cousin, good son. You know, just an overall good fucking person at being who you are. You know, and a lot of this shit is the mindset. You know, like I talk about on this show a lot, nigga. I provide mindsets. I don't give you niggas instructions. You ain't gotta listen to me. You ain't gotta do what the fuck I say, my nigga. Like, a lot of what the fuck I talk about on this show is just me putting you in the mindset to just overall be a real ass nigga, to be a motherfucker with, you know, integrity, principles, morals, character, hustle, you know, the determination to do what the fuck you say you want to do, you know, the discipline to do what you say you want to do, you know, the ability to hold yourself accountable, you know, like the Oxford definition of mindset, since we talk about mindsets, you know, established set of attitudes held by someone, you know. So like basically in the dictionary it's just saying it's an attitude, you know. A mindset a lot of times goes part way into your perspective, you know. Like, I always push positivity, like I always try to remain positive. I'm always a fucking positive thinker, you know. And a lot of that comes with the results of things that I go into, you know. Shit go fucked up, you know. It's always I'm trying to think of, okay, what the fuck did I learn from this shit? Like, I never lose. I either win or I learn. That's it. Something don't go my way, I learned something. Something go my way, cool. I keep on pushing. I keep trying to do what I did right to get that result again. But I never get down on myself. You know, like I tell y'all, shit go fucked up for me in life, and I still bring this motherfucking content. I still keep on going. I still keep on fucking pushing. You know, like I have a death go on in the family. And one thing that I always think about when it comes to death, like, if this person was alive, if I could have a conversation with this person, if this person could watch me do what I'm doing, would they want me to sit up here and be sad and be fucked up about it, or would they want me to keep pushing? You know, of course we mourn our loved ones. You know, of course it's something that's sad. It's something that'll, you know, bring us down. You know, because it's never cool losing a motherfucker, whether it's a family member, a friend, you know, a motherfucker you've been fucking with forever, or a motherfucker you've been fucking with for a short amount of time. Cause like my homeboy Spank, like, I ain't know him no super long ass time. I only really knew the dude for, you know, a short amount of time, but he was a solid motherfucker. Like, he was just a real nigga. Like, you know how it's just certain motherfuckers you run into and you can just feel their energy when you meet the motherfucker. Like, when y'all have the short amount of conversation that y'all have, like, you could just tell a motherfucker's a real nigga. Like, you know, just a short amount of time that I was cool with this nigga, you know, we just clicked like that, you know, because real recognize real, you know. And when I lose a motherfucker, like, even a real motherfucker like that, is just like, man, you know, I gotta keep pushing in the name of a real nigga. You know, like, I gotta keep the legacy of a real motherfucker going, you know, because I had posted something on Instagram earlier, you know, just about real niggas being rare. Like, I posted, you know, real is the new weird. You know, like, a lot of us niggas in general, like, when niggas do sucker shit, niggas do, you know, hoe shit in general, we call them niggas weirdos. Like, this nigga's a fucking weirdo. This nigga weird as fuck. But on some real shit, honestly, my nigga, like, weird shit is a lot more common than real shit. It's a whole lot more niggas willing to do some sucker shit than niggas that keep it real all the time. It's a whole lot more niggas that'll do some slimy shit or do some sucker shit or dirty mac you or talk down on you when you ain't around or any of that shit than motherfuckers who keep it solid. You know, so I honestly look at niggas who got real integrity, morals, characters, and principles. Like, I look at them niggas as weirdos because we rare. Like, it's not a lot of niggas out here that really stick to the G code. It's not a lot of niggas out here who get on the, get in a situation where they facing some time and they really honestly shut the fuck up. Like, they really keep that shit solid. It's not a lot of stand-up niggas out here. You know, so like I really feel like, real niggas is considered like the weirdos now. Like, even when you hear niggas say certain shit, a real nigga say some real shit and they call him a hater. Because real is rare. Like, it's rare to hear a nigga like really express his honest opinion on some shit. Good, bad, or indifferent. Because there's a difference between honesty and hate. It's not a super big difference, but it's not that thin of a line either, my nigga, because a nigga telling you he doesn't enjoy something, a nigga telling you he don't like something, a nigga tell you he ain't feeling something, that's his personal feelings. That's his opinion. A nigga hating is a motherfucker trying to convince you not to like some shit. That's hating. Now, when a motherfucker trying to get you to be like, oh, you like that shit weak, you really like that shit, that's hating. Now, if you say, oh, how you feel about that, and a nigga just say, yeah, that shit just ain't for me, I don't like it. That's a personal fucking opinion. And a lot of times motherfuckers got to catch themselves doing that shit because, you get niggas who'll fuck around and be on some hater shit. I think we all guilty of it. A lot of us will hear something and we won't enjoy it, and then we'll hear another motherfucker say they enjoy it, and we'll immediately be like, you like that bullshit? That shit trash. How you like that shit? That shit weak. But real motherfuckers, even when they do that, real motherfuckers realize when they hating and correct themselves. And I look at being a real nigga a lot of times as a discipline. You need to have discipline to be a real nigga. Because a lot of times in moving with a code, it takes discipline to stick to that code. Because sometimes, nigga, your instinct to tell you to do some sucker shit. You see somebody's shit laying there and you like, damn, I could just take that shit. And I feel like being a thief is some sucker shit. But, a lot of times that's the easy route, nigga. The sucker route is always the easier way to go. It's very easy to do sucker shit. Sucker shit don't take no effort. Being a real nigga takes effort. Like, a lot of times there's a situation where you can lie. There's a situation where you could tell a motherfucker what they want to hear instead of telling the motherfucker what they gotta hear. Especially when it's somebody who you really like or somebody who you really fuck with or somebody whose feelings you don't want to hurt. A lot of us, when we talking to certain people, it's certain motherfuckers that what the truth is ain't what they want to hear. But your discipline as a real motherfucker tells you, I gotta tell them this shit, my nigga, because this is the real. They gotta hear this shit, my nigga. Like, it's a lot of times when some motherfuckers will tell me something or they'll ask me something, like they'll play a song for me, and in my head I'm like, I could just tell this nigga the song is good just to get him out my face or just to please him for a second. But the real nigga in me is like, nah, my nigga, I gotta help this nigga become a better rapper and tell him that this shit ain't it. Like, nigga, you gotta keep on going. That shit ain't it, my nigga. Like, give it up, or go back in the studio and redo that shit. Like, to me, that shit takes discipline, my nigga. Like, matter of fact, since I'm talking about discipline, the motherfucking Webster's dictionary version of discipline: control gained by enforcing obedience or order, or orderly or prescribed conduct or pattern of behavior, i.e. self-control. Like, I look at discipline a lot of times, as self-control. Like, when it comes to discipline, a lot of motherfuckers look at discipline as like whooping a child. Like, they look at discipline as like a bad thing. Like, in the hood, like a DP. You know, that's short for discipline. Like beating a nigga ass because he do the wrong thing. You know, I look at a lot of times as me having discipline as something that's gonna keep me out of a negative situation. So I honestly enjoy discipline. I honestly enjoy having discipline because the mindset of having discipline is something that's gonna keep me away from negative interactions with people. Like it's gonna keep me from, you know, outside disciplinary actions. You know, like fucking what would you call this shit? You know, like my discipline keeps me out of situations as far as like I'm disciplined enough to stay away from loose bitches, stupid assholes, you know, outside pussy, chasing hoes and shit like that. You know, in order to avoid getting fucking divorced from my wife. You know, I avoid doing stupid shit at work to avoid being fired from work. You know, I avoid letting interactions get out of my hands so I don't end up in fucking jail. You know, a lot of motherfuckers lack self-control in a lot of these situations, and this is why a lot of their interactions in life go negatively. Because instead of you having the discipline to either calm your nerves, you know, or pay attention to what you're doing, or, you know, go along with what the rules are, or sometimes, like, you know, with discipline comes sacrifice. Like giving up something that you might want to do, you know, like sleeping in, or, you know, eating bad foods, or any of that type of shit. You know, like, it's a lot of motherfuckers that say they on a diet, but they can't give up ice cream, or they can't give up, I don't know, red meat, or any of that type of shit. Like, nigga, you saying you can't get this up, so basically you'll rather eat red meat than reach your target weight. You know, or you would rather smoke weed than get that job that you say you want. Or you'll rather sleep in than go to the gym and, you know, get huffed like you want to. Like, it's a lot of shit when it comes to discipline. It's always got to be a mindset of this or that. You know, do I want to be asleep or do I want to be successful? You know, do I want to fucking lose weight or do I want to chill? You know, do I want to finish school or do I want to chill with my homeboys? You know, like it's a lot of sacrifices that come with discipline. But the thing about discipline is these sacrifices that you're making are small in the grand scheme of what you actually want. You know, and like I be saying about the 1%ers in life. Like the reason that a lot of motherfuckers are in the 1% and everybody else is in the 99% is because 1%ers are willing to be like, nah, man, I ain't finna go out drinking. I gotta work on this business plan. Nah, man, you know, I understand it's Friday night and everybody chilling and I done missed the last 3 functions, but you know, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. You know, I gotta fill this little shit out. I gotta do this meeting. I gotta, you know, draw up this motherfucking storyboard or whatever the fuck you gotta do, my nigga. Like, real motherfuckers that really succeed are way more focused on what they gotta do than what they want to do because they focused on what they want in life, not what they got in life. You know, when you focused on what the fuck you got going on ahead of you, like a lot of the little shit going on around you don't even fucking matter. You know, like I would tell motherfuckers a lot, like just niggas who clown me for the amount of discipline I got. Like I got homeboys that would clown me about eating like a bird. You know, I got a bunch of motherfuckers like, nigga, why the fuck do you be eating salad when you go to hamburger stands? Why you always eating fucking trail mix and going to fucking Chipotle? Nigga, you don't eat meat? And the thing is, I do eat meat, but I tailor my meat intake. Pause. Like, you know, I try to avoid as much red meat as I can. I try to avoid as much pork as I can. Like, I still want to be able to eat it because I don't want my body to go in shock from lack of eating that shit. Like, I still do enjoy it every now and then. But I only really eat meat products on the weekends because this is something that I'm disciplining myself to do. Because both my parents got gout. Like, and a lot of times when it comes to health problems, they will say certain shit is hereditary, but it's not that the health problem is hereditary. It's the diet that brings on the health problems. You know, you're susceptible through your genetics. But if you avoid the situation that creates the health problem, you could avoid the fucking health problem. Like a lot of people like, oh man, diabetes running my family. No, nigga, chitlins running your family. Oh man, cancer running my family. No, nigga, smoking cigarettes running your family. Like a lot of the bullshit that you say running your family, it ain't the bullshit that running your family. It's the fucked up habits that run in your family. You know, so with me, I understand that gout is something that I'm susceptible to. But I also realize that eating bad food is what leads to gout. So when motherfuckers see me eating a fucking salad instead of eating a fucking hamburger, or see me eating some fucking trail mix instead of eating whatever the fuck snacks they got, or drinking some water instead of fucking drinking soda or whatever the fuck, it's because I got something that I see that I don't want. So I discipline myself to avoid that. You know, it's just like certain motherfuckers that I know that like to party, they like to go out, and you know, it's no shade to motherfuckers who like to go out and enjoy themselves. But me, a lot of times, the reason I avoid certain parties and certain functions and certain situations is because I've disciplined myself to stay out of situations where I feel like my willpower may not be as strong as it should be. You know, because I look at willpower as something that's, I wouldn't say temporary, but it's something that's limited. But something that's limitless is the right mindset. Like the right mindset will let you know, like, I'm just gonna avoid this situation so I won't even put myself in the position to fuck up. You know, a lot of times motherfuckers, they just feel like, oh, I just do it, and you know, if something come along, I'll say no. You know, and me, I'm disciplined enough to understand my limits. You know, like I'm pretty good at telling women no and shit. Like, don't get me wrong, if a bitch run up on me in a club or at a party, it's easy for me to be like, nah, get the fuck out of my face. Like, you know, I've been married a long time, and I realized that my marriage is way more important than a temporary nut. Like, that shit ain't nothing. But, you know, me, it's just certain situations that I understand. Like, you know what? You know, it's only so many times you could say no before a motherfucker come and you eventually make that fucking mistake. So I just avoid those situations, you know, as much as I humanly can. Like, and it's not really that difficult for a motherfucker to be like, hey man, you trying to go to this function? And be like, nah, I know it's gonna be a lot of scantily clad loose hoes there. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, walk away from that, because that ain't for me. That's not gonna be a situation that's gonna be beneficial to what the fuck I got going on. You know, like a lot of times, me personally, like just the way I get down, like something that's kept me disciplined in life in general is always keeping my goals in mind. Always keeping what I want and don't want out of life in mind. Like I said, it's a mindset. Like it's something that I've created and turned into a fucking lifestyle. Like I remember when I was a Christian. When I was a Christian, my nigga, like, y'all hear this fucking show. Y'all hear how much I cuss. I'm super fucking profane. You know, and it's not like it's even fucking on purpose. This is just how I've been talking literally since like first fucking grade. But when I was in church, nigga, from fucking what, like late '07 to motherfucking like 2009, like damn near 2010, like it was like a 3 year period I was in church. I didn't cuss. You know, motherfuckers who really knew me was always like, God damn, nigga, how the fuck you stop cussing? Like, that shit is fucking crazy. Like, to hear me talk, like, I got banned from Facebook, so you can't even see my old Facebook posts no more. But before I got banned from Facebook, like, you can go through my Facebook posts from that little gap of time, and even looking at my Facebook post, there was no profanity. You know, and the way that I discipline myself to not cuss, I will always tell motherfuckers, I walk around as if God could see me all the time. Which, if you're a Christian, it's the truth, honestly. Like, I would always clown niggas who call themselves Christians who sin when they not in church. Because it's always like, my nigga, how the fuck You'll stop cussing in front of your pastor, but you won't stop cussing in front of God. Like, you think when you leave church, God can't see you no more? Like, God can see you, God can hear you, everything you do, every move you make, God can see that shit. So, like, this is a big part of why I got so much respect for Muslims, honestly, because they some of the most disciplined motherfuckers, I don't know all these niggas personally. I'm not with these niggas 24 hours a day. But for the most part, my nigga, when you talk to Muslims, most of the Muslims I've encountered, they always highly disciplined people. And I look at the source of their discipline probably the same way as the source of discipline that I had at the time. Like, God can always see me. God can always hear me. So I always make sure that all of my steps are guided by the will of God. Like, God don't want me to do this, so I'm not gonna do this. It ain't like it's a physical man watching me, but I understand that God is all seeing, all hearing, all knowing. So I'm not finna do nothing that I think is gonna be displeasing to God. And a lot of times this is my mindset even outside of church. Like, whatever the fuck I got going on, it's always, is this gonna get me to what the fuck I want? Like, when it comes to like all this podcast shit that I got, like all this equipment, these motherfucking lights, these cameras, laptop, fucking mixer, and all of this shit, my nigga, like, a lot of what I do in life, I'm always thinking, like, is this gonna make my podcast better? Like, everything that I fucking watch, like all the media that I consume, is this something that I could use for my podcast? Is this something that I could use for this? Like, I'm going back and forth. Like, I got my motherfucking Harley now. Like, it be a lot of times I be wanting to buy shit for my Harley, but it's like, fuck, I want to buy these motherfucking handlebars and shit, but I do need a fucking laptop to fucking do my fucking show on and shit. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, but I always keep my fucking priorities ahead of me, so I don't start fucking wavering, so I don't fucking miss out on my discipline. Something that I fucking didn't even write on this motherfucker, as far as discipline, is staying around other disciplined people. Everybody who listens to this show for any amount of time, you've been listening for a while, you already know I'm big on your motherfucking circle. I'm big on the motherfuckers who you keep around you. You keep suckers around you, you keep undisciplined motherfuckers around you. You are who you hang out with. You hang with 4 broke niggas, you gonna be the 5th. You hang with 4 undisciplined motherfuckers, you gonna be the 5th. So get around motherfuckers who fit where you wanna be. Because a lot of motherfuckers got day ones, but a lot of motherfuckers don't got A1s. Like, like, I'm big on loyalty, but I'm big on loyalty to the right motherfuckers. I'm big on loyalty to the right situations. A lot of motherfuckers just feel like you should be loyal to a motherfucker because you knew him for a long time. But a lot of times the motherfucker you being loyal to is the reason you ain't got shit. The motherfucker who you loyal to is the reason you ain't doing shit. The motherfucker you loyal to is literally a stick in the fucking mud. Like, this motherfucker, you being loyal to the motherfucker, and all they want you to do is bullshit with them. Oh man, you always read, man. Come hang out. Oh man, you always working, man. Come hang out. Oh man, you always in that motherfucker trying to, work on music, man. Fuck that music, man. Come hang out. Like, what the fuck is this motherfucker got all this time to hang out for? Cause a lot of times the motherfucker that always got time to hang out ain't got shit cracking. Ain't got shit going on in life, nigga. You on your motherfucking couch, like your whole lifestyle is not doing shit. And you gotta stay around, you stay from around these motherfuckers. Like, it's motherfuckers in your life that literally you fucking with them is the reason you ain't where you wanna be. Like, a lot of motherfuckers, been talking about, like, self-love these days. Like, self-love has been like a big thing that everybody been talking about. You know, like, and a lot of times when they use the term self-love, they use it in like the sense of like mental health. But on some real shit, like if you really love yourself, if you really have self-love, you'll have self-discipline. Like when it comes to self-discipline, like when it comes to self-love and the intersection between the two, it's like you love your child. You know, when you love your child, you discipline your child. And a lot of times, you know, when they see motherfuckers, kids bad as a motherfucker, you know, you ain't whooping their ass. A lot of motherfuckers look like, oh, this motherfucker, you don't care about your kid if you don't discipline them. So if you not disciplining yourself, you don't have that much love for yourself. You know, a lot of times I tell motherfuckers as far as like the reason that I'm so disciplined is because I got love for myself. Like the reason I eat healthy is because I got love for myself. I want to live long. Like I want to be able to do well in life. I want to be healthy. So, you know, I drink a lot of water and shit. You know, I got this motherfucking wine and shit. But I also drink a big ass bottle of fucking water every day. Like, you know, I do my best to take care of myself. Like I try to make smart decisions. You know, I'm big on personal safety and protecting myself because I got love for myself. You know, I'm disciplined to keep myself sane. You know, my mental health, my physical health. You know, the health of my family dynamic. You know, I do my best to try to be home as much as possible. Like the reason I got the boom boom room, like a lot of what I do in life ain't nothing on fucking accident. Like I did the fucking show on purpose and shit. You know, like everything I do is on purpose. Everything I do is with a purpose. It's discipline. You know, like I always keep what I want out of life in mind and when I'm making all my moves. Because I know what I want, so I gotta do what I gotta do to get what I want. Something that my wife always tell my son is you gotta do what you don't want to do to get what you want. You know, and a lot of that is what discipline is. You know, like I want to do this, but is this thing that I want to do gonna get me to what I really want? You know, is eating this motherfucking ice cream more important than reaching my target weight? You know, and that's a question that you always gotta ask yourself, you know, because the thing is, you know, like a lot of times when it comes to situations as far as discipline, this shit sucks. You know, when you're disciplined, it's a lot of shit you're gonna have to give up. But when it comes to that, would you rather have the regret of that small thing that you gave up or have the regret of not reaching the success that you actually wanted? You know, not reaching, you know, whatever the fuck it was, like not getting your fucking degree, you know, not being able to go on that fucking cruise because instead of putting your money to the side to go on that cruise, you bought some weed or you bought some liquor or you went out or you did some bullshit with your money knowing that that money was for something else. You know, you got to make that small sacrifice a lot of times for a bigger goal in the end. You know, like it's a lot of things in life that you got to give up to get what you really want. You know, a lot of motherfuckers, like I look at a lot of small pleasures a lot of times as hurdles. You know, it's a lot of times it's going to be something small that's pleasurable to you that I honestly look at as like something that, you know, like in Christian terms, like how they be talking about the devil be busy. Like it's shit like that. Like, you know, like Christian motherfuckers are always saying like, oh, this ain't nothing but the damn devil. Like, nigga, you know you on a motherfucking diet. Now fucking trap kitchen done park they van right in front of your house and shit. Like, you know, damn, nigga, them fucking Dairy Queen signs is glowing bright than a bitch now that I'm on this diet. Nigga, all these motherfuckers want to throw barbecues and motherfuckers want to make gumbo and soul food. These niggas done opened up a motherfucking Black Bear diner by my house and some more shit. Like, it's always gonna be some small pleasures put in front of you to fuck you up. You know, but you always got to remain disciplined. And like I said, this is the reason that I look at discipline as something that you got to create a mindset about. Like, no matter what the fuck is in front of you, you always got to think about the bigger fucking goal. You know, like when it came to me as a Christian, like I said, you know, it's a lot of shit I'm going to keep on fucking repeating. And y'all already know, you know, like Nipsey said, nigga, constant repetition is the path to progression. You know, but like as far as like, you know, when I was a Christian, it was always God could see me. Whenever I was finna do some bullshit, I would always remember God looking at me. God looking at me. You know, because like I always say, as far as, you know, Christian motherfuckers, nigga, don't shut the fuck up for the pastor if you won't shut the fuck up for God. If you'll cuss and God can hear you, you might as well cuss in front of the pastor. You not putting the pastor in front of God, are you? You know, and this is what I look at as far as like our goals, our things that we want to do, my nigga. Like, you know, what we want to do ain't God. You know, financial success ain't God. You know, entrepreneurship, or, you know, a successful podcast, a successful rap career, or, you know, whatever the hell we trying to work towards in our life. You know, we all got our own thing. That's not God, but I'm just using that shit as an analogy. Like, you know, when it comes to what you want out of life, that shit should always be on your mind. Like how when I was a Christian, God was always on my mind. Is God pleased with this shit that I'm doing right now? Is this something that if I could talk to God, if God was standing next to me, would he be like, yeah, do that shit? Or would he be like, man, what the fuck is you doing? You know, and that's what I look at as far as a lot of our goals. You know, I really look at how important your goal is to you is shown in your willingness to sacrifice for that goal. You know, like if you not willing to wake your ass up at 4 in the morning or whatever the fuck time you gotta wake up, you want that sleep more than you want your success. If you not willing to give up red meat, you like hamburgers more than you like being slim. And the crazy shit, a lot of motherfuckers like they really gotta lose weight for a real life health problem. Like a lot of motherfuckers got some shit going on that'll kill them, and they won't give it up. Like, you know, it's motherfuckers that's dead right now because they ain't want to stop smoking cigarettes. Like, nigga, I remember when I was in junior high school, this kid named Robert died of diabetes because this motherfucker just couldn't stop eating candy. You know, I think we was all like 12 or 13 years old. And he died while we was in junior high, cause, and I remember this shit, that motherfucker used to steal candy. Like when we was, you know, we had like the little snack machines and shit, that motherfucker break into the snack machine and steal a bunch of candy. Like the motherfuckers who stole candy, that motherfucker be stealing, or not stole, but sold candy. He'd be stealing candy out of their backpacks and shit. Like that nigga was like the candy bandit. And he ended up dying. You know, and the thing is, like, it's hard to put discipline to that degree on a child, but, you know, it is what it is, and it was what it was. But, man, yeah, we was preteens, and he died because he couldn't stop eating candy. You know, and this is a lot of grown motherfuckers got a lot of habits like that. Motherfucking hard drugs, lean, you know, pills, cocaine, all type of shit. Like, you know, these bad habits will literally cost motherfuckers their life. A lack of discipline will cost motherfuckers their life. You know, like, but discipline in general is something that is commendable. Like, you know, outside of the fire and brimstone part of lack of discipline, having discipline a lot of times is something that motherfuckers really fuck with. Like, you know, especially in relationship dynamics, like, you know, as a husband, as a wife, you know, the ability to hold it down, like the ability to put your mate first in a lot of situations, and not even put your mate first, but put your relationship first. Like, always be thinking about the relationship that you in, like your marriage, your whatever the fuck you in. You know, like, is what I'm doing serving this relationship that I'm in? Like, is my wife gonna approve of me talking to this bitch? Or, you know, is my husband gonna approve of this fucking work husband I got and me and this nigga going and eating lunch every motherfucking day? You know, like a lot of times it's gonna be shit that you're gonna have to discipline yourself with in a lot of fucking dynamics. Like me personally, my nigga, it's a gang of shit that I had to like transition and change out of, as far as from how I was raised into what I am now. Like when I was younger, like I wasn't raised affectionate. Like I didn't come from like a hugging and kissing household. Like I didn't come from a household where it was always like, hey, give me a hug. You know, like my mom and my dad, like they didn't hug and kiss me when I was little. So I grew up not like, I don't like nobody fucking touching me on some real shit. But when I got into a relationship, like I had to have the discipline to understand that that's something that's important to my wife. That's something that's important to the situation that I'm in. So I have to always constantly keep that shit in the back of my mind or in the front of my mind. Like I always gotta burn that shit into my brain. This is something that my wife appreciates. This is something that's gonna help me get to the goal of a good marriage. You know, so I gotta make this shit a mindset. Like I gotta create good habits. Like I gotta make this shit to where it ain't even something conscious no more. It's just something that I fucking do. Because when it comes to a mindset, like a mindset is something that you done did it so much, you got that shit so strongly put into your brain, you don't even gotta tell yourself to do it no more. It's just something that's a fucking habit. Like in the beginning, like when I was like trying to give, you know, like give up, you know, meat products and shit. Like it'd be like, damn, I want a fucking hamburger, but I forgot I can't eat them on weekdays and shit. Fuck. What kind of salad y'all got? Now it's to the point where like I don't even be tripping off that shit no more. Like it was something like my dad was telling me about him not really eating red meat no more. He like, nigga, I don't even desire hamburgers no more. Like, nigga, hamburgers now to me is like gross. Like if I accidentally bite into some fucking beef, I spit that shit out because, you know, my mind had already told me that shit is gross. That shit is bad for me, so I don't even fuck with it. You know, and that's a fucking mindset, my nigga. Like a mindset is a lifestyle. A mindset is literally like rules in your brain. You know, so like I just look at the mindset that I always try to provide in this show. You know, whether that be me talking about integrity or me talking about discipline or me talking about doing shit on purpose or me talking about, you know, like anything, like, you know, because I really want this show in general to be like a fucking book that you read. Like I always would talk about, you know, to my listeners, to niggas who tell me, oh man, I really fuck with your show. Like niggas who got on late or niggas who got on early. Like my nigga, listen to all of them. You know, or at least the ones that the name is like some shit that sound interesting. Like, you know, the leverage episode, you know, the integrity episode, yellow brick road. Like I got certain episodes that's like my favorites because they was real game heavy. Like I honestly wanted this one to be like one of those. Like mindset is so fucking important just in life in general. Like I have shows that I be feeling like these game heavy. I got shows that I feel like is game light. I feel like this is one of them game heavy ones. Like this is one that I feel like you should listen to 2 or 3 motherfucking times. You know, because discipline is so fucking important, my nigga. Having the mindset of being disciplined is so fucking important, my nigga. Like, that shit ain't nothing to fucking play with. Like, when you're disciplined, nigga, anything that you do in life is successful. Like, the difference between great motherfuckers and regular motherfuckers is they level of discipline. Like, when you look at NBA players and shit, like, whenever you would hear about Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Will Chamberlain, like the all the greats were highly disciplined. Like everybody who was ever great at anything, my nigga, like they all had healthy habits. They all had good fucking habits. Like, you know, and back to what I was talking about earlier on fucking Instagram, like they was all considered weirdos. because it's weird for you to have that much fucking discipline, my nigga. It's not common. It's not a normal thing for you to be a highly disciplined person. But it's also not normal to be fucking great. It's not a bunch of Kobe Bryants. It's not a bunch of LeBron Jameses. It's not a bunch of Michael Jordans. It's not a bunch of Michael Jacksons, Mike Tysons, Jay-Z's, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. Like, there's only one of these motherfuckers. You know, when you're rare, you're considered to be weird. You know, when you're disciplined, you're considered to be weird. You know, so when motherfuckers clown you for your level of discipline, nigga, just say, shit, Drake weird too, nigga. You know, Michael Jordan was weird too. Kobe was weird too. Shaq was weird too. You know, LeBron weird too. Disciplined motherfuckers always weird. Motherfuckers who willing to go the right way instead of the easy way is always considered weird. You know, so don't ever let a motherfucker shame you for having discipline. Like, nigga, I remember when I was in church, I got clowned all the fucking time because I was a highly disciplined person. But it was because I always kept my goal in front of me, my nigga. And this is something that, you know, like I always say, like, this is a mindset that I'm trying to provide with all these motherfucking episodes that I do. You know, you'll hear me talk about it a lot, especially as of recent, because I never really said this shit earlier because I'm learning on the job. I'm learning as I go. But I've realized that that's what I'm doing when I do a lot of these episodes. You know, I'm creating a mindset for motherfuckers. Like, I want you to hear what the fuck I be talking about, commit it to your brain, and let it guide your steps. Because like I always say, I don't tell niggas what to do. I don't really give advice like, you should do this. I always tell motherfuckers like, this is how you should be thinking when you do what you do, and you will know what to do when you got the right mindset. You know, real niggas just do real shit because they mindset is always set on doing real shit. You know, because we all got a moral code. Like, we all got a mental code. You know, like in Christianity, it's considered to be the Holy Spirit. Like I always tell motherfuckers, like, nigga, you could be raised by wolves and you know what right and wrong is. You know it's wrong to kill your mama. You know, you feel bad when you steal from a motherfucker. Like, this ain't something your parents gotta tell you. You know, so like I always tell motherfuckers on the show, like, I don't really tell niggas what to do because when you got the right mindset, you already know what to do. When you understand the importance of certain concepts, you already know what to do based on the concept that you have. You know, like, even when it comes to advice, like, motherfuckers who listen to this show, like, I'm not telling y'all niggas some groundbreaking shit you ain't never heard before a lot of times. You know, like, when you go ask motherfuckers for advice, 9 times out of 10, you gonna do what you was gonna do any motherfucking way. You just wanted the advice to hear another motherfucker's perspective on what the fuck you was doing to confirm or go against what you thought you was gonna do. But you gonna do what the fuck you gonna do any motherfucking way. You know, so when it comes to how I talk on this motherfucking show, what I talk about on this show, it's always me just saying, you know, this is my perspective on what I feel like motherfuckers should be doing as real niggas from a real nigga. You know, like, this is how I do it. This is how I would do it if I were in your shoes. And you can move accordingly based on what I said. You can do what I said to do, or you can do the fucking opposite of what the fuck I said to do. You know, it is what it is on some real shit. But, you know, like I always tell motherfuckers, man, keep your goals in mind. You know, always remain disciplined. Always, you know, hold yourself accountable. You know, because mindset is the key to discipline and vice versa. That's the reason I always be trying to push having the right mindset and everything. Because when you got the right mindset, you know, when you listen to this motherfucking show a lot, when you go back to the old episodes, you know, some of the new episodes I'm gonna do is gonna be piggybacking off of old episodes. Because a lot of this shit is mindsets that I feel is important. You know, perspectives that I feel is important. You know, parallels to what the fuck is going on in pop culture. You know, sometimes the pop culture shit that I talk about won't have shit to do with my show. Sometimes my show is going to be all about something that happened Like the Icebox Challenge, according to what happened to Omarion. That whole show was about how dope he handled that shit. You know, and that whole episode was about taking emotions out of your actions and moving on logic, moving on strategy instead of moving on emotion. That's a mindset. You know, the mindset, the discipline to not allow your emotions to get you out of your character. You know, the mindset to allow you to say, look, my nigga, this shit really pissed me off and I don't really like what the fuck happened, but I'ma do this because if I move on what my emotion is telling me, I'ma fuck you up and I'ma end up in prison, or I'ma end up fired from my job, or I'ma end up fucking up a relationship or fucking up something that can make me some money. So I'ma move on strategy and just let that shit slide, and I'ma move accordingly. I'ma stop fucking with you, or you know, I'ma do something that's gonna hurt you on the back end or whatever the fuck. But when you got the right mindset, your steps are guided by you having the right mindset. You know, a lot of times, and this is something that I might have to do a fucking episode on that I don't think I've touched on, but seeking wise counsel in a lot of situations. You know, a lot of us, our ego tells us that we the smartest motherfucker in the world. You know, and a lot of times, it's a lot better to seek counsel from a motherfucker who might know more than you in a certain situation than trying to always make every move on your own. You know, like this is something that me personally, I've had a lot of problems with. Like me, I think I'm the smartest nigga in the world a lot of times. Like it's a lot of mistakes that I make in life because instead of asking somebody who I feel know what they talking about, I'd rather just figure the fucking shit out. And that's something that's hindered me in life. You know, but I feel like that's a good thing, you know, having the humility to ask a motherfucker for feedback. Ask a motherfucker, you know, what would you do in this situation? How should I do this? I know you an expert in this shit, so you know, let me borrow your expertise real quick and you show me how to do this shit correctly. You know, like there's humility in that. That's a commendable trait. A lot of motherfuckers lack that. Like me personally, you know, like I always say, like I ain't fucking perfect, my nigga. I make mistakes too. That's something that I gotta work on. You know, me nigga, I don't be liking to ask a nigga shit for shit. I'm always like, nigga, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll do it. You know, I'll figure it out. And shit, I'll probably be 500 steps further in life if I was willing to just, you know, seek wise counsel in a lot of situations. You know, and I'm gonna talk about it on one of these motherfucking episodes. But, you know, I feel like that's another thing that I think takes discipline. You know, the discipline to check your motherfucking ego. Like that episode Hold the Salt, I talked a lot about that shit. Like, you know, checking your ego a lot of times is something that you gotta discipline yourself to do. Something that you gotta have the mindset to do. Something that you have to, you know, create good habits on. You know, like good habits is what a lot of motherfuckers talk about. Like if you go on YouTube and you watch any fucking videos about millionaires, a lot of times it's always mindset, manifestation, and habits. You know, 13 habits of, you know, successful people. They wake up early in the morning, they do this, they work out, you know, they set their mindset on being productive. They say their positive affirmations and you know, all that old shit. Like, you know, but again, this is all mindset. Like they have the mindset of success. They've set their mind to say, I'm going to succeed. Whatever I do today, it's going to be aimed at my success. Whatever I do today, it has to be something that's going to push me toward my success, or it's something that's pulling me away from my success. And they go the opposite direction. They always got their mind on what the fuck they supposed to be doing. You know, success in itself is a mindset. You know, like I talked about in the episode Yellow Brick Road. You know, understanding that the journey of life is more important than the destination. You know, because like I talked a lot, I've spent pretty much this whole episode talking about you thinking about where you're going in life and that guiding your steps to get you to where you're going. But when it comes to what success is enjoying the journey to get to whatever the fuck that shit is. Because when you're disciplined, like I was talking about, like how my dad don't even desire red meat no more. Like when you're actually disciplined, when you've created the mindset of discipline, it's become so ingrained in you that a lot of the bullshit that was slowing you down, you don't even desire it no more. Like a lot of my homeboys who I used to kick it with, who would slow me down in life, like I don't even have the desire to kick it with them niggas no more. Like a lot of the habits that I had that was slowing me down, like I used to be a big gamer. Like I used to be heavy in the video games. And like I said, probably last episode or the episode before that, like I'm not against video games. A lot of people are very successful from playing video games. But it was something that was slowing me down, me personally. So that was something that I had to slow down on now, to the point where, nigga, I go literally like weeks without turning my fucking Xbox on. Like, I have no desire, my nigga. Like, a lot of the things that I feel are gonna make me successful are what have become enjoyable to me. Like, I feel like I'm gonna become successful in this podcast space, and this is something that's enjoyable to me. Like, acquiring new equipment for my podcast is enjoyable to me. Sitting down and chopping it up with other podcasters, that's enjoyable to me. Like, the things that are gonna make me successful have become enjoyable to me. Like, I'm enjoying the journey, my nigga. Because, like, rest in peace to my nigga Spank, dog. Like, he was enjoying the journey. A lot of us are not gonna make it to this finish line. A lot of us not gonna live to be 100 years old. So you gotta realize how important at the moment that you are in is. Like, realize the importance of today, the importance of right now. Like, everything that you doing, even when you giving up certain shit, like, it should be with the mindset that eventually I'm not even gonna want ice cream no more. I'm not even gonna want to hang out with toxic motherfuckers no more. I'm gonna enjoy this shit. Like when it comes to successful people who become millionaires, a lot of times, like, they enjoy life now that they gave up all the shit that was stopping them from reaching the point that they at now. Now, everything that they doing is enjoyable. Like they would always say, like, when you do what you enjoy for a living, you'll never work a day in your life. Like, they had to give up a whole lot of shit to get to the point where they were able to do what they enjoy for a living. And there's no success without discipline. You won't get to that point without discipline. Like motherfuckers in the NBA, like, they doing what they love for money. But it took discipline for them to get to the NBA. When you look at corporate executives, it took discipline for them to get into those positions. Like, you had to be disciplined to study, to go to school, to learn everything you had to learn, to create the relationships that you created, to do everything that you did to reach your success. It all took discipline. So then when you reached your success, discipline was already your fucking lifestyle. So all that shit you gave up, you don't even miss that shit no more. Especially because this shit that you got to after you gave up all that bullshit is way better than what the fuck that bullshit was. So when you giving up little shit, keep that shit in mind as well. Like, nigga, there's gonna come a time when I'm not even gonna miss this shit. So it's not even gonna be nothing that you tripping off. Like, when I talk to my, like, older homies who married, like, them niggas ain't even, like, tempted by no other bitches. Like, when you talk to younger niggas and it's like, man, women don't know how hard it is to stay faithful in a relationship. Like, man, bitches just coming at me. Man, these old niggas that be married 20 and 30 years, a lot of them niggas be like, man, I don't even be looking at other bitches, man. Like, it ain't even worth it. Fuck that shit. I ain't even looking over there. Like, the shit is fucking crazy. But you know, it's discipline. They've created a fucking mindset that just stuck with them, my nigga. Like, and this is the thing about fucking, you know, creating a mindset of discipline. Like, nigga, once you've disciplined your mind to something, like, you fucking unstoppable, my nigga. Like, you know, like I talk about Kobe a lot. Like, nigga, him going to the gym and practicing had become what he did for fun. Like, it's niggas who I know who go to the gym for fun. A lot of us don't even like stepping into that motherfucker. Like me personally, that ain't my shit, nigga. I don't like doing push-ups, pull-ups, none of that shit, nigga. I'd rather just chill. But there's niggas who literally go to the gym and that's like they happy place. But they've created a fucking mindset. They discipline themselves to wake up at 5 in the morning, take their ass to the gym, run on treadmills, lift weights, and do all kind of shit, my nigga. You know, but they discipline their mind, my nigga. You know, the fucking mindset is key. It is something that is always gonna guide your steps to reach your fucking goals. You know, so always keep that shit in mind, my nigga. What I want is bigger than what the fuck is in front of me, my nigga. And you'll always be successful. You know, and I'm gonna drop the mic on that shit. This has been your host, Yung Dolemite, of the Too Much Game podcast, live from the Boom Boom Room once again. If you would like to support us financially, it is patreon.com/townhouse media. Town E House Media. Support all the Townhouse Media podcasts. Seriously Not Another Podcast, Friday nights, 9 p.m. Being ready doing this motherfucking shit. He's back. Tuesdays, Talk Flirty Tuesday, the Talk Flirty podcast with just Nikki. Anytime Tuesday, just be looking for the motherfuckers. You know, she'll be back soon. The Sports for You podcast, live 6 p.m. on Tuesdays with Mark, John Watson, and Nick motherfucking Freeze. Dope ass sports show. You know, get your sports fix. Fuck with them niggas. They know what they talking about. They be gassing. Check them motherfuckers out. Wednesdays, live at 5. Hump Days Never Be the Same. The No Rules podcast with Mark and Ill Will. You know, live on Facebook. They be going in. Sundays, the Cat vs. Dog podcast with myself, Yung Dolemite, and the celebrity of Townhouse Media, CJ, Chelsea Jordan Perry, with her famous ass. And, you know, if you hear, you already know. The Too Much Game podcast. Usually on Thursdays. Today it was a Friday, because nigga had a long week, man, you know. Rest in peace to my nigga Spank. You know, prayers up to the fucking the Street Wolvez motorcycle club, man. Like, just lost another one last night. Like, you know, hug your loved ones, my nigga. Like, love your people while you still got them, cause you know, ain't none of this shit guaranteed, my nigga. Tomorrow not guaranteed. So, you know, everybody who you got in your life, tell them you love them, enjoy them, enjoy the moment, enjoy the journey. And you know, all my socials and shit, you know, follow me on Instagram at Too Much Game Podcast on Instagram, at Too Much Game Pod, #1 on Twitter, at Yung Dolemite on Twitter. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Like, rating, and review, and all that good shit on Apple. And I think that's about it, man. I ain't here to help you get bitches. I'm here to help you get better. Too Much Game.